Hello everyone, this is Bintul Hudah from class 10th here in Mansur classes Magam. So today I'll be representing myself with the topic life process, wherein we'll be discussing about the various topics such as we'll have an overview regarding life, and then after that we'll discuss what actually life process is and about the different life processes, and among those life processes we'll be discussing about nutrition broadly. Coming to our first slide, what is life actually? So all the living organisms have certain common characteristics like breathing, living, having nutrition, growing, and many more. Like we have here, we have breathing, we have growing, nutrition, producing offsprings, and responding to the stimuli, etc. These things actually distinguish us, like the living beings, from the non-living things, such as the stable, this board, the pen, and stuff like that. So Earth is the only planet where the life is possible because हमारे पास यहाँ पे सब वो चीज़ें जो हमारे लिए ज़रूरी है, जैसे कि we have all the necessities present here, like we have air, we have sunlight, we have plants, we have water, we have atmosphere, and what not. Coming to our next slide, where we'll be discussing about life process. So what actually life process is? Life processes are actually the processes which helps to maintain our life. Like we have nutrition, then we have transportation, we have respiration, we have excretion, reproduction, and metabolism. So the maintenance of living organism is essential. So life processes are the processes which together help us maintaining our life, and they all go inside our body. लाइफ प्रोसेसेस वो होते हैं जो हमारी बॉडी के अंदर हमेशा चलते रहते हैं, इवन अगर हम सो रहे हो, हम कुछ भी कर रहे हो, just we are sitting idle and we still breathe. So that's one of the process which keeps us going for life. So we have different life processes, like we have nutrition, we have transportation, we have respiration, we have excretion, reproduction, and metabolism, and among these we'll be discussing about nutrition in detail. Now we have organisms of two types. हमारे पास unicellular organism भी रहते हैं and multicellular organisms भी रहते हैं. जैसे multicellular में we have amoeba, we have paramecium, etc. But in multicellular organisms we have variety of organisms present, like we as human beings is the best example of multicellular organisms. So in unicellular organisms, the single cell performs all these functions, but in multicellular organisms we have different systems and they are specialized for different processes. Let's move to our next slide, where we'll be discussing about nutrition. So what nutrition is? क्या है nutrition? Nutrition is the process of acquiring food that is needed for us, for our nourishment and for our growth and for us to be alive. जैसे कि हम बहुत चीज़ें intake करते हैं, like we have food, even if we breathe, that air is important for us to breathe and to live. Same like that, we have nutrition. Intake of food is really important for us to grow. So nutrition is broadly divided into two, that is heterotrophic nutrition and autotrophic nutrition. And heterotrophic is then divided into holozoic nutrition and saprophytic nutrition. First we'll be discussing about autotrophic. Autotrophic nutrition, auto here means self, and trophic means to make. So we have plants, they make their own food with the help of raw materials present in the environment, like we have sunlight, we have oxygen, we have water and other bacteria and other gases. What actually happens in autotrophic nutrition is, यहाँ पे plants जैसे है वो हमारे autotrophs है, because they can make their own food. They are the food producers, and us human beings are heterotrophs because we take that food from producers like plants and animals who eat plants. So best example is plant, which makes its food from the process of photosynthesis. But in heterotrophic nutrition, what it actually means, hetero means others and trophic means to make or preparations. So what heterotrophs does is, they take food from others or from autotrophs, who are the producers. They take food from like other animals who eat plants or directly from the plants. For heterotrophic nutrition, it's present in bacteria, fungi, or in us, like we humans and animals. They derive their energy from organic compounds, such as we have animal-eating plants, as I said already, and other animals for food. It has subtypes such as holozoic, like we have the type as animals, many bacteria, protozoas, and fungi. Let's now know about autotrophic nutrition a bit broadly. So if an organism can really make its food for itself, for its own nourishment from the raw materials that are present in the environment, that organism is known as autotroph, like we have plants. So now plants, how do they make their own food? We have the process called photosynthesis, as we all know. And it's a really very important process for them because they make their food from this process only. Photosynthesis is an important process as plants make their own food from it, and where the heterotrophs derive their energy indirectly from. So the plants make their food using sunlight, water, which actually provides nourishment to other organisms and themselves, and those other organisms are us and other animals. Now we know that in plants chlorophyll is present in the green parts. So what happens due to this chlorophyll, the sunlight gets trapped and it's present in the green parts of the plants. It absorbs light energy basically, which is used to split water and hydrogen and oxygen to ultimately derive energy. Hydrogen is here when we split water into hydrogen and oxygen, hydrogen is then used to reduce carbon dioxide into carbohydrates that we typically call as glucose, which is actually the outcome of photosynthesis. So after splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen, this hydrogen is then used to reduce carbon dioxide into carbohydrates that we typically call as glucose, which is the ultimate outcome. So now chlorophyll is really very essential for photosynthesis and for the stomata too, that facilitates the intake of carbon dioxide. Now about the stomata, we'll be discussing about in the next video.